What is going on, everyone? It is I, Andrew Francis. This is Andrew's Awesome Carcast, and let's just roll right into it. So, it's been a little while since I posted one, just because I've been busy traveling a lot, actually. Like 2.5 weeks ago or so now, I was in Dallas, Texas for work, and then I got sick while I was there. And then so I did my best to heal up for when I got home, because then just this past week I went back to Texas, although I was in Austin, Texas this time for RTX, and that's gonna be something I'm gonna go over here. I also want to talk about, I saw Toy Story 4 and Spider-Man Far From Home. So starting off, excuse me, that's still a bit of a residual phlegm, like I said, from being sick. So you have to bear with me on that one. But yeah, starting off, I was talking about RTX. RTX was amazing. Yeah, this was my second one, and you know, if this is any indication, it just gets better and better every year. You know, went out there, stayed with six guys I know from the Kind of Funny best friends. You know, including Snowbike Mike. You know, that guy is something else. And actually, we had like a bit of a surprise guest in our room, if you will. Cool Greg Geddes himself ended up staying with us. That was awesome. So, especially for me, I'm someone who likes to stay out as late as possible, keeping the party going, and Cool Greg is the same. So like, I had him to roll with. That was great. But yeah, so quick RTX recap. So RTX goes officially from July 5th to the 7th, and they have the convention itself goes from, I think, like the first panel starts at like 10:30 or 11, and the last panel is usually out by like 5:30, 6ish. And then there are some there are evening events. Like I attended 3 of them. There was Theater Mode Live, there was AH Live, and there was the Kind of Funny comedy show. Those are 3 I went to, but I'll get to all that in a minute. So yeah, even just from the get, it was an amazing trip. I had downloaded Mario Maker 2, sorry, on my Switch to play on the plane ride there, and like that was amazing. The flight just flew by. Like, it was 3 hours. I wish it would have been longer so I could play more Mario Maker. It's a great game. And as I said, I'd gotten sick a little bit on my flight to Dallas, so to ensure I didn't get sick on this one, I actually bought like a face shield, you know, that I just wore the whole plane ride. Although I made sure that it was non-threatening, because I'm already a big guy with tattoos. I don't want people to think I'm about to pull some shit on a plane. So mine was like very colorful. It had balloons on it, you know. And from what I could tell, it worked. Like, I mean, I landed fine. When I flew home, I was fine. You know, like I said, I'm still just residually sick from the Dallas trip, but from Austin, I'm good. But so yeah, anyways, back on track. I landed in Austin, and everyone who was staying in my Airbnb with me, they had landed like 20 minutes before me, so they just waited for me. So when I landed, we all took an Uber over. That was great. We met up. We dropped our stuff off. Well, we took shifts. We got there, our Airbnb wasn't ready yet, so half of us waited with the bags, and while the other half went to this exclusive store they have across the street from the convention center called the Coop, where you get like all the super exclusive merch, like even more exclusive than the stuff that's in the convention center. And we knocked out all that shopping. And like I said, that stuff is really exclusive, so like, you know, if you're thinking about getting something, you better act on it, because the next day, or even hell, an hour from now, it might be gone. So I scooped up all my merch from there. And another cool thing about that place is they have free alcohol. Yeah, they had like 3 different beers and like a whiskey, where you have to drink it in there, and obviously you gotta be 21 or over. But yeah, they just give it to you, and that was great. But they only did that for 1 day this year. It was that first day when I was there, that Wednesday. Whereas they had the Coop store last year as well, but there was alcohol every day there. I don't know if it's maybe it's a supply and demand thing, or just like a deal where they're like, okay, we're only gonna do it 1 day. I don't know. Hold on. Yeah, that's nasty, huh? But hey, it is what it is. So anyways, back on track. So yeah, I got all my stuff from the coop. You know, then eventually we got into our Airbnb, had a very nice, lovely Airbnb. You know, we got situated there. Rained for a little bit, and then we all went out drinking. That was awesome. And there was no, like I said, the convention officially started on the 5th, but there was nothing pre that night. There was next day, July 4th. So, you know, woke up after, you know, getting there. We just kicked it for a while. Met up with some more best friends during the day. We went to this really nice bar. I believe it was called Half Step. And this was like the day when most everyone was flying in. You know, like a bunch of people came in the 3rd, like me as well, but most people were getting on the 4th just because the convention started on the 5th. So like everyone got in, and like a bunch of us met up at this bar. And it was really cool for me. The bar, I can't remember what the exact name of the drink was, but it was like a red, wine, and blue drink. You know, it's like it was like different colored alcohols and like some food coloring as well. Like the top was red, middle's white, bottom's blue, and it was really good. Like I'm normally a whiskey guy, and I was going up to the bar to order myself a whiskey, and I saw someone next to me order this drink, and I was like, well, I got to get this thing. And you know, I figured, hey, if it's good, I'll drink this all day because it's 4th of July. Why not? And if it's not, you know, okay, go back to my whiskey. But no, it was really good. Again, I wish I could remember what it was called. It had some patriotic name, you know. But anyways, it was really good. So saw a bunch of my friends, you know, just got drunk and whatnot. And it was actually here. This is where Cool Greg ended up rooming with us, or just sleeping with us, anyway, crashing in our room, anyways. Because for this RTX, all of Kind of Funny went out, like all the casting crew, you know, and their significant others, like all the wives and girlfriends and whatnot. And so just like the way the rooms worked out for them is Cool Greg was going to be in a room with Kevin and his wife Paula. And you know, it's a little awkward, you know, like Cool Greg's a single bachelor, and you know, it's like being in the room with a married couple. It's a little, you know, a little odd kind of thing. So like we told him, like, hey, you know, we have an extra like 2 beds in our Airbnb if you want to crash with us. And like it was, and like I said, it was awesome. Like hung out with Cool Greg the whole weekend. It was awesome. And so, yeah, so that was the 4th of July. Like I said, we spent most of the day and evening just drinking like that. And then later that night was the first of the RTX evening events, which was AH Live, which is the guys and gals of Achievement Hunter. They basically put on a live show. Like they do, like, you know, Achievement Hunter makes a ton of videos every day. And like there's some bits that carry over, some more popular bits. And so like they got on stage, they did a couple of them. Like for example, a game that they play quite often is Ultimate Chicken Horse. And so if you're not familiar with that game, it's basically you pick your little animal character. It's called Ultimate Chicken Horse, but you can be a chicken, a horse, an elephant, a rabbit. I think a squirrel is an option. But yeah, and basically you set traps for everyone, like traps and deterrents and whatnot, and you try and get to the end of a platformer, like a platform maze, like not a super elaborate one, but you know, good enough. And so like they all came out dressed as like their characters. Like Michael Jones, for example, he's always the horse, so he came out dressed in like a giant horse onesie. And like Gavin Free is the chicken, so he came out as the chicken, and like that. And like one of these humanitarians, Jeremy, he once axe kicked Gavin's desk in half. So they did a bit about that where he kicked another table in half and like tried to headbutt another one, and he couldn't do it and pretend to be knocked out. It was great. Yeah, so but and also during AH Live, just it's like where I was seated up in like up in the VIP mezzanine level, and like directly behind me on my level were like the big VIP couch areas and whatnot. And the Kind of Funny crew happened to be like directly behind me. So there was an intermission at one point during the show, and I went back to talk to them. That was awesome. You know, always love seeing those guys. You know, those guys are my favorites. You know, got to hang out with Tim. Actually, and it was here, I mentioned earlier, this is the first time I ever really talked to Paula. Because I'm always a bit nervous approaching like her and like Jen Miller or not so much Gia, because I've spoken to Gia before. Like, me and Gia are cool a little bit. Like, I wouldn't call, you know, I wouldn't say I'm her friend, but like, you know, we're cool. Like, I would say I would call her a friend. I just don't know what kind of label she puts on, you know, but whatever, that's a whole other fucking thing. But so yeah, like, this is the first time I spoke to Paula, and Paula is fucking awesome. Again, I'm nervous to like say hi to her, but like Kevin came up and it's like Kevin recognized me, knows who I am, so I gave Kevin out speaking to Kevin. Kevin's like, oh, you know, Paula. I was like, oh, of course, you know. And I spoke to Paula. We had like a nice career talk. Like, she's dope. Like, I've seen Paula's artwork. Like, I follow her on Twitter and Instagram. So like, I've been a fan of her work for a while now. Me like actually getting to talk to her for a bit, like, fucking awesome. Like, support Paula and everything she does. She's dope. So yeah, and so I talked to her for a bit, talked to Andy, of course. Love Andy Cortez. Tim. And then also, Jackie Butler, who is Alfredo Diaz's girlfriend, was walking by too. Like, Jackie's my friend. I would call Jackie my friend. Like, Jackie's the homie. Like, I understand that relationship, the relationship I have with her better than I do with some of the kind of funny guys, just because, like, it's awkward. It's a whole fucking thing. I don't want to get into it. But so yeah, it's like I was chilling with Jackie the whole time. It was great. Watching Alfredo do his thing on stage. Awesome. My favorite bit of the night there was probably is one of two things Alfredo did. Alfredo did a first musical number with Michael and Lindsey Jones, which was great, where you had Michael in a dress and Lindsey in well, Michael dressed up like a woman, Lindsey dressed up like a man, Alfredo just dressed up as his sexy self. And then Alfredo did another dance number where the Achievement Hunter crew brought the Funhouse crew on stage, and they were doing a little battle, Achievement Hunter versus Funhouse, and it came down to a dance-off. And like, the bit was like, you know, so they were playing, I think, Just Dance. It's like Funhouse was like actually playing the game, you know, like, you turn it on, you get a random song, you do the best you can. Whereas, you know, like, the bit was Achievement Hunter I prepared for. It's like, after Funhouse went, the Achievement Hunter dancers came out, and they were all in costume. And like, they had prepped, they like knew what song they were doing, so like they prepped beforehand, they were all in sync and all that. It was awesome. And yeah, so yeah, AH Live, huge success. So the next day, convention starts. I hit, let's see, I did the Ruby panel, I did Red versus Blue, I did, fan service, and Achievement Hunter. Sorry, those were, I might have done a fifth, maybe. I think it was just those four, but anyways, those are the four I remember anyways, and they were all great. During the Red versus Blue panel, Matt Hullum did a bit, the whole panel really, where anytime he was asked a question, no matter what it was, he would just read a line as his character, Sarge. It was awesome. And so that all went great. You know, bought some more merch, of course, because that's just what I do. And then, so then the evening event that night was Theater Mode Live. And what Theater Mode is it's Achievement Hunter. They have a show where they watch these just mostly awful, like, D and F ranked horror movies. You know, like, there's like an A movie and a B movie. Like, a B movie might be something like is released, like, you know, directly to Blu-ray. Or like may go to Netflix. Although Netflix has some A-ranked material as well, but something like that. Like, these aren't those at all. Like, these were made for like maybe $20,000, if that, you know. And they're just like horrible movies. But like, you get some good, you get some gems here and there. The good ones are the ones I would say that are like, they're self-aware. They're like, okay, we know this is hokey, we're gonna lean into it, and those turn out good. But so Achievement Hunter, they watch those type of movies, and then like they're on, normally the show, you know, you watch the show online through the Rooster Teeth website, and it's them like sitting on a couch watching the movie, and they commentate over the movie. Like, they'll pause it and they'll stop and make jokes, and they play a drinking game as well. You can drink along with them, which I do, because I'm me. And so, you know, they did it live, where like they rented out a movie theater, an old movie theater downtown, and, you know, like, they sat on stage and did the whole thing live. Excuse me. And so this one Oh man, this was a rough fucking theater mode. This was rough. So it's bad enough when you get a bad movie, but this one was 2 hours and 5 minutes long, I want to say. And no one knew what the fuck was going on for a good hour, hour 10 in this movie. There was literally a point in the movie where we're like at 45 minutes, maybe somewhere near around an hour, I don't know, in. And one of the team members, Jack, pauses the movie, turns to another guy, Ryan, says, okay, hey Ryan, so we're about, 45 or however long it was minutes into the movie. What's this about? And he honestly had no answer. And I didn't either. Like, I turned like people next to him, like, y'all know, like at random points during the movie, like, y'all know what the fuck is going on? And they were all like, nope. I'm like, okay, just gonna keep drinking. And so that made it awesome because like the appeal of theater mode is you have achievement hunter, jabbing at the movie while they get progressively drunker, and so like that's where your real comedy comes in. And so when you got 2 hours plus of a shitty movie, they're hitting the booze pretty hard. You get some gold. Like, it was awesome. And then another cool thing was so after it was all done, like after the movie ended, one of them, Michael Jones, like it was so bad, he stood up and he was like, okay everyone, let's all agree this shit didn't happen. Like, we showed up, the movie, if technical difficulties in here, we will never speak of this again. And that was funny. Like, got a good laugh. And I guess later he went home and tweeted that, like, oh man, such a shame, like, theater mode didn't happen. Sorry about the technical difficulties. And like, people were believing that. And so like, it was catching on. And so people who I knew who were there who did not go to theater mode, the next day were then coming up to me like, yo, what happened to theater mode? I'm like, oh, you heard about it, huh? They're like, yeah, like it broke? What happened? I'm like, oh no, that's not what happened. So that was funny. And then, oh, the other great thing that happened to theater mode, well, not great, but great after, you'll see, is, so at one point, it's getting, the movie's getting pretty rough, and one of the achievement hunters, Jeremy, he looks down into the crowd and he sees Alfredo. And Alfredo's like 2 rows ahead of me, like off to my right. And like, he's like, Alfredo, I can't do it, tag me out. And Alfredo's like, oh, no. And so, that gets a good laugh from the crowd, but then like, it quiets down a little bit. And some fucking stupid kid, like from the shadows, like a little bitch, yells out at Alfredo, like, fuck you, Fredo, fuck you. And Fredo's like, huh? Like, he's looking around. And he's like, okay. And then so after the show, like I'm looking for Alfredo and Jackie just, to say hello and whatnot, see if they want to get something to eat. I don't see him. So I text Jackie, I'm like, hey, like saw you guys, like I went and said hello to him before the show started. I'm like, hey, just like I was looking for you guys, just wondering if you wanted to go up and grab something to eat real quick. And, like, at first I don't hear back from him, so like I'm just walking back to my Airbnb, and I get like a block or two away, and Jackie hits me up, she's like, oh yeah, like I'd love to go eat some, like we'd love to go and get something to eat with you real quick. I'm like, oh cool. So I double back, because they're in front of the theater taking some pictures and whatnot. I double back, I'm like, oh yeah, I looked for you guys after, like I didn't see, I figured you guys went home. And they're like, oh no, Fredo was looking for that kid who told him to fuck off. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, it's like we got up and we asked like everyone was like, yo, where's the kid who said that shit? And they pointed him out, and Fredo went up to him and was like, yo, let me talk to you. And the kid was, my understanding was the kid was basically like trying to, oh no, I'm sorry, it was just jokes. And Fredo's like, no, I want to talk to you about why you said that, come here. And like the kid was like, no, it's just a joke, I'm sorry. And like the kid like took off. Like he didn't want no part of Alfredo. It's like yeah, he's trying, like, I don't understand what this kid's thinking was. Like if you're gonna if you're trying to make fun of, because like, the bit was Jeremy's trying to get Alfredo on stage, and Alfredo's like, oh no, I'm good. So like, he doesn't even like call Fredo like, and this would probably be taking it too far too, but like, he doesn't even like call him a pussy or like try to call him a scaredy cat or anything like that. Like he just straight up says like, fuck you, Fredo. Like I get if you're trying to like be funny, like try and call Fredo like afraid or something, like even though he's not afraid, but like you don't imply that at all. You just told him to fuck off. Well, and like it's one of the things like you think you're brave because like he's not gonna find you, like maybe you're behind it, like you probably troll people online, but like nah, Alfredo's in person, like he's gonna call you out on that shit because that's the kind of dude he is. And like yeah, that kid would have gotten fucked up. But so yeah, so anyways, back on track. So then I met up with Fredo and Jackie, and us and another friend of ours, Trix. We all went to dinner and had a really nice, intimate dinner with them. And I fucking love those people, like Trix, Alfredo, and Jackie. I love those people to death. Like, I don't get me wrong. I saw them all again multiple times throughout the convention. But like that was like a nice little intimate thing where it's just the four of us, you know, like chilling, having a meal. You know, like it was awesome. Love them so much. They're the fucking best. And so yeah, so after that, Fredo and Jackie went home. I went back out and met everyone at a bar. Drank the night away, of course. I think this was the night where I believe this was the night where me, Cool Greg, and our other friend Jordan ended up at an IHOP at like 3 a.m. And that was a scene. And some dude threw up on Cool Greg's shoe. And just like there's, you know, you're at IHOP at 3 a.m. Of course, it's the drunk crowd. So what do you expect, you know? And you know, came back, crashed, it was fine. So then woke up the next day, Saturday, July 6th. That was my birthday. I turned 31. Thank you. Hold your applause, send money. Hang on, just lane change in here. So yeah, so it was my birthday. Woke up. First panel of the day. Saturday was, what was it? I forget. I can't remember. Okay, I can't remember what the first panel of that day was, but I remember after that was the Kind of Funny panel, and that was like my big panel today. That was the one thing I was looking forward to, because like that's one where it's all the Kind of Funny best friends. Obviously, Kind of Funny's up on stage doing their thing. It was great. Like they had a bunch of people dressed as for those of you watching this who don't know, one of the Kind of Funny guys, Nick, has an alternate persona named Johnny Ace, where he's just like this elitist jerk a-hole, and it's awesome. So like there were like a bunch of people in the room cosplaying as Johnny Ace. It was pretty funny. Oh, excuse me. And yeah, so Kind of Funny. The panel was mayhem. It was awesome. Jack came out and threw water at Greg. Millie was there. Little 13-year-old Millie Ramsey was there. Was being embarrassed. It was awesome. So then the Kind of Funny panel ended, and then the Kind of Funny panel ended, I remember, like around 3:30-ish, somewhere around there. And I then had everyone from the Kind of Funny panel, literally they went and raided the Retro Replay panel. Retro Replay is Nolan North and Troy Baker, who I will talk about them more later. They had their panel going on, where I ducked out of there because that panel was going to go on for a while, and I had to plan and get ready for Alfredo's Twitch sub meetup as one of Alfredo's mods, and just the guy who planned it. Obviously, I had to be there. So like, I just walked around the exhibit hall for a bit until it was time, and the sub meetup happened, and like that was great. You know, like I said, by this point I'd seen Alfredo and Jackie multiple times, but you know, always love hanging out with them again. But then like this was the one where like all of Alfredo's chat came by. I'm like, that's awesome. Got to see all those people. And fun fact, so throughout all of RTX, like there was a siege from Rainbow Six Siege, a tournament, where in the end the winner, we get to go on stage and play against Achievement Hunter. And the winners were all Fredo subs, because they were trained by Alfredo. So all week they were just smacking fools. And then they get to go up on center stage in front of everyone and play against Achievement Hunter. Fredo didn't play himself, but he was there commentating. And yeah, they just smacked Achievement Hunter. Like that was great. But yeah, it was great to see everyone loved seeing Alfredo. Like that was like I said, I'd already met Alfredo and Jackie multiple times and whatnot. So like I was just hanging back taking candid photos when I took the big group photo and all that. And I just love seeing everyone's faces light up. Everyone's so happy to see each other and see Alfredo. Like that's what it's all about, you know? Like this is what it's all about. It's fucking great. But then, so Alfredo's sub meetup started at 4, and Alfredo's like, I can probably hang out till sometime like around 6-ish, maybe a little before, maybe a little after, you know, we'll see. And so there was a panel that was going to start at 5. It was Greg Miller and Michael Jones. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know what those two are, those two have the gift of gab. Greg and Michael can talk about anything for hours. Like, they just have that gift. So a year ago, someone randomly tweeted out to Greg and Michael, I would love to see a panel with you two and just see what happens. And so literally that was the name of the panel. Greg Miller and Michael Jones, let's see what happens. And I really wanted to go to that, but I left the Alfredo Sub Meetup a few minutes early so I could get in line for that. And like, I had a platinum badge, which meant like I had priority access to everything, and I still couldn't fucking get into that. They put that thing in way too small of a room. That was like the one L I took the whole trip that just made me salty. Like, I wasn't mad. I'm kind of mad, but not really. Like, I'm just salty. Like, I'm very salty. I'm like, because I heard the panel was great too. I heard it was amazing. I believe I heard that one was being recorded, so I'll catch it online. And now and either way, even if they don't, it's cool. You know, like, but it's just a little salty, little salty. But it's fine. It's like I couldn't get into that, so I just came back down to the Fredo Sub Meetup and kept chilling with everyone. That worked out great. So the Fredo Sub Meetup ran till somewhere around somewhere around 5 or 6-ish, something like that. And then so then the convention all closed. And then so I went back to the room to chill for a little bit. No, I went to a bar first. First I went to a bar. First I met up with a bunch of the best friends at a bar. And then this was the night of the Kind of Funny comedy show. And the comedy show was the one after hours event that I wanted to go to most, but I didn't get a ticket for it. It was such bullshit. Like, the day tickets went on sale, I knew they were gonna go fast because they did the comedy event last year and people didn't know. People thought it was just gonna be Kind of Funny doing stand-up, but it wasn't. It was Kind of Funny and a bunch of Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter and all that. It's like all these people that they love were doing stand-up comedy. I saw it last year easily, no problem. But I knew that word had gotten out, so it was gonna be a bigger deal this year. So I was online right when tickets went on sale. I put a bunch in my cart. I was literally typing in my credit card information, about to hit purchase, and fucking I get a notice saying like, oh, sorry, tickets sold out. I was like, fuck me running. And so like the whole time, like I've been trying to hustle my way in, and it's like me and Snowbike Mike, who I was also rooming with, like we know the Kind of Funny guys, you know, like Mike knows them way better than me, but like, you know, I know them pretty well as well. Like they recognize me. I'm one of their mods in their Twitch chat. And it's like Mike and I immediately hit him up when we couldn't get our tickets. Like, yo, we tried to get tickets for the comedy event. We couldn't get them. Could you guys please hook us up, get us in? And at first they're like, oh yeah, cool, no problem. So we're like, sweet. But then like the day before, on the 5th, like we get hit. They hit us up and they're like, yo, this event is different from last year. We're not sure we can get you in. Like, it's a lot crazier. And so, like, I'm just like, hey, that's fine. Please don't go to any real trouble. If you can get us in, eternally grateful, thank you. If not, don't give it a second thought. It's fine. And so the plan, so we were in contact with them, and the plan was the event started at 8, and Mike and I were gonna arrive at 7:30 and just see what was up, you know? So we get there a little before 7:30 actually, and Nick and Andy come out, and they hustle us in, like, come on. We get wristbands wearing, like, oh, like, we're coming. I pull Andy, so I'm like, oh my God, Andy, thank you, man, thank you. Like, this means the world to me. Like, this is the one thing I wanted for my birthday, you know? And he's like, oh, dude. He's like, I'm glad we do that for your birthday, happy birthday. But he's like, dude, you have no fucking idea how lucky you are. I'm like, oh, dude, I know. He's like, no, you don't even know. He's like, guess whose tickets you have? I'm like, who? He's like, Troy Baker and Nolan North. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, you have Troy and Nolan's tickets. I'm like, why did you give us Troy and Nolan tickets? What's going on? And he said, and again, this is what I was alluding to her about Troy and Nolan. So he told us, like, Troy and Nolan were like gonna perform. Like they were gonna go up on stage and like as a duo and do like a little comedy bit. But then like a couple of hours before the event started, I guess Tim Geddes had called Troy and been like, hey, just making sure we're all set for a night. And Troy was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you know, the comedy show for tonight. And Troy Baker was like, I honestly don't know what you're talking about. And there's like a bit of a pang. So like, you said you were coming. And he's like, dude, and Troy was like, did I promise you this while I was drunk? He's like, because I honestly don't remember this at all. And I guess he had like a prior engagement that like he wasn't sure he could get out of or whatnot. It's like, it was crazy. So they gave me and Mike Troy Baker and Nolan North tickets. And then so like a couple of our other friends show up throughout the night, and like I'm talking to Blessing from OK Beast. Go watch OK Beast, follow Blessing, follow all of them on Twitter, social media, YouTube, Twitch, like, love. They're awesome, by the way. So yeah, so I'm talking to Blessing from OK Beast, and I'm like, oh, what's up, Bless? And he's like, oh, you know, what's up, man? I tell him the same story. I'm like, oh, you know, me and Mike got so like tonight, I tell him joking, like, so tonight I'm Troy Baker and Mike's Nolan North. And he's like, and then Blessing is like, dude, I'm pretty sure I just saw Nolan North. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I think I just saw him go upstairs. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. I'm like, so I'm just like, the rest of the night, I'm just like, but you know, just in case someone figures out that like they gave us their tickets and they asked us to leave or something, like I'm just chilling. Like nothing happened though. I was just being funny, or attempting to be funny. But so yeah, the comedy show was great. Absolutely everyone killed it. You know, all kind of funny. Andy, Kevin, Tim, Nick. Oh, Gia got up and did it. Oh man, Gia crushed it too. Like, I don't know how exactly that came about. Like, I don't know if she volunteered to do it, like if Tim twisted her arm, but Gia fucking crushed it. And like, it was just great. And like, big shout out, I don't know how much of the story was true. If it was though, big shout out to Josh Flanagan, who was just, man, like, again, I don't know how much of the story is true, but he did a bit about, he turned a bit about his dad's suicide, which, man, like, respect that he's in a place where, you know, like, he can make jokes about that, you know. And it was funny. I laughed. not you know, like at the, well, I mean, I don't really know how you technically qualify that, because like, am I laughing at his pain? But he's laughing with me. He's the one making the jokes. I don't know exactly. It's a weird place. It's a weird place. But like, he was up there doing jokes about it, so he's clearly okay. Okay enough anyways. But yeah, anyways, just again, big shout out to him, because I know that takes a lot of courage to get up there and talk about that, let alone joke about it. So big shout out to Josh Flanagan, and of course everyone else, Elise, Jeff Ramsey, of course. Jeff did up to, I think Jeff had the longest set. Jeff was the closer. I think he did like 15, 20 minute set. And like, he's getting good. Like, I saw him do it last year and he did like 5 minutes. He had a solid set this year. Like, shout out to Jeff. And yeah, it's just, oh, great night. Great night of comedy. So glad. Thank you. If by any chance you ever see this, thank you again so much to Andy and Nick and all of Kind of Funny, really, for getting me and Mike in there. You guys didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. Troy Baker and Nolan North, if you ever see this, we're cool, right? But yeah, so after the Kind of Funny comedy event, went out to a bar, of course, because why not? Well, that's what I do. And it was my birthday anyway, so I got super drunk, you know, like did some birthday shots, birthday drinks with everybody. That was great. And then here's a great story comes from that too. So again, it's my birthday, so I'm drinking. I drink heavily anyways, but I'm drinking even more heavily than normal. And so the bar closed, and we're all just walking around, and we get out in front, we're out in front of I forget which hotel it was, but it's where Andy Cortez was staying. And apparently Andy, I don't remember this, but Andy rolled up in an Uber. I remember talking to Andy, but I don't remember how we found Andy. But Andy just rolls up in an Uber, so he's sitting there chilling, talking to us for a bit. I don't know how I got on this rant, but I went on a rant about how everyone should up their Patreon pledge to Kind of Funny. And then the homie Ant-Man, Anthony's real name, I call him Ant-Man. Oh, excuse me. Ant-Man was standing there with us, and I was like, Ant-Man, I was like, Ant, you need to up your Patreon right now. And he's like, I'm already at a producer level. And I was like, I don't care. You need to up it $5. I'm like, just up it $5 right now. Just do 5. I'm like, you do 5, I'll do 5 with you. And he was like, but I'm already a producer there. Like, I'd rather donate the money to Andy on his stream, whatnot. I was like, no, yeah, but like, don't worry about that. I'll take care of Andy. You just up the Kind of Funny one. And he's like, no, I'd rather just give it to Andy. So I was like, okay, I'll tell you what. You up your Patreon pledge right now, $5. I will give Andy $100 right now. And he did it. And I gave Andy $100. But then, now here's where the point of contention. So I give Andy $100 because I'm a drunk fucking moron. But no, it's fine. I'd give it to Andy anyways. Like, I'd go into his Twitch chat and do it. But so I give Andy $100. And Andy then apparently hands it to Dim. Dim, who I've actually, the only guest I've had on this podcast, him and his wife Ree. So Dim's there with us. He hands it to Dim. And Dim says he handed it to me. But I didn't have it. Like, I woke up the next morning, I didn't have it. None of us had it. Like, Andy didn't have it, Dim didn't have it, I didn't have it. So what I think happened was, so we all agree that it was handed to Dim. Like, I handed it to Andy and everyone says it was then handed to Dim. I think Dim put it in his pocket and forgot. And then it either fell out or it's just in the pants and he hasn't found it yet, which is what I'm really hoping happened. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I gave the money to Andy anyways. Money's gone. I no longer have $100. Like, that I don't give a shit about. I just hope that one of like the people I was with has it. Like, ideally Andy, who I would hand it to, but if not him, literally anyone else. I just didn't want it to be left on the ground for some random asshole to find $100. Like $1, okay. Like 100, fuck me running. Like, I might as well have just lit it on fire. But so I really hope like one of them checks their pants later and they have it. So yeah, that was the dumbest drunk thing I did that whole trip. So then like I said, went back home, went back to the Airbnb, woke up the next morning. We got back to the Airbnb at like, me and Cool Greg were at the Airbnb at like 3, and we thought everyone was gonna be asleep, but they were still up. So like, we were all just up talking till like 4:30 in the morning, and then we knock out, and then the next day, the 7th, the Genlock panel was at 10:30, and I really wanted to go to that. So I woke up at 10, because we're super close to our Airbnb is across the convention center. Like, the way Snowbike Mike puts it is, I can stand on the roof of the Airbnb, take a piss, and it's hitting the front door of the convention center. That's all true. So like I said, I wake up at 10, plus I have my plaid badge. I know I have priority line access. So I wake up at 10, roll over there. I get a great seat for the panel. That's awesome. And I'm just still drunk. I'm not even hung over. I'm still drunk. So like, I'm just powering my way through this panel, which, bit disappointing, to be honest, just because, and I didn't know this, like right now, like there's a shakeup with the animation department at Rooster Teeth. So like, because of that, like season 2 of Genlock is up in the air. So like, I came into this panel thinking like we were gonna see some stuff for the next season, like maybe not a trailer, but like, you know, like some concept art, some clips, like little dropped hints here and there, whatnot. But like, it was just like a salute to season 1, because season 2 is just up in the air. So I was kind of like, oh man. But the one cool thing, the coolest thing that came out of that panel though, is that and this will help get a season 2, is that Genlock is going to be on Toonami. That's fucking awesome. Like, because right now the only way you can watch Genlock is being a first member on the Rooster Teeth website. So putting it on Toonami, because it has such star power. Like Michael B. Jordan is in it, Dakota Fanning, David Tennant, Maisie Williams, Asia Kate Dillon. I think it's Asia. I think they pronounce it Asia. I'm not sure if it's Asia or Asia. I don't know. But anyways, from Billions, they played Taylor Mason in Billions. They're all on it. They're all fucking amazing. And you know, there's RT people in there too. Like, I love Genlock. It's awesome. I really want the second season. So if you're watching this, fucking watch Genlock when it comes out on Toonami. It's great. Watch it. And so yeah, so I powered through that Genlock panel, and then the other major panel I went, because this is the last day of RTX, and RTX is always closed out the same with a live broadcast, a live showing of Off Topic, the Achievement Hunter podcast. And this is the one panel I look forward to, because like, I love Off Topic, like, and I like, if I have a chance to see it live, I'm not gonna miss it. I did it the year before, and I was gonna do it this year. So there were 2 other panels I wanted to do before Off Topic, but like I said, I got out of Genlock and I was just drunk, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the room and I'm gonna nap for an hour or 2, and then I'm gonna make sure I'm straight for for Off Topic, and I did that, so I missed the Funhouse panel and the Weird Place, I think was the other one. And it's like, yeah, I would have loved to have seen those, but like I said, Off Topic was my priority, and it was a great decision. Like I said, I caught like a 2-hour nap, woke up, showered, just felt great. So headed over to the convention center at like 2:40-ish, because I knew Off Topic is always the most packed panel in the convention, because it's the ender, and B, Off Topic is hugely popular. So I knew the line was going to open at like 3 or 3:30, and even though I had a plaid badge, like I knew like I need to be early as shit for this if I want the seat I want. And sure enough, the second the line opens, boom, fucking stampede in there. Like I said, like I timed it perfectly. Like I walked the exhibit hall for a bit, and then like once I knew the line was gonna open, I did what a bunch of people are doing. Was like I was kind of like pacing back and forth front line, because they said like you can't line up until 3, but everyone fucking knew. Like there's gotta be a way to fix that. I don't know what it is. It seems like everyone's just like stalking the line, and as soon as the line's open, boom, stampede, mad rush in. And so I get in, and I'm perfect. I get the perfect seat I want. Like I'm dead red center in the front, perfect view of everything. And it was amazing. It was a great show. Like I love Off Topic. It might be my favorite podcast. It's either that or the Kind of Funny podcast, which after the revamping, don't get me wrong, I still love it, but like I don't know, it's got some competition from Off Topic. Like I love Off Topic. And so yeah, so then that, and like I said, Off Topic was the final panel of RTX, so that was the closer, and that was it for RTX, and it was amazing. Like I said, I've only been to 2, but if this is any indication, it's just gonna get better every year. I'm just gonna add more friends and more people to see, and it's just fucking great. Like that was the best way I could have spent my birthday weekend slash kind of a week slash weekend, whatever. Like it's amazing. Like, oh God. Like it hurt leaving. Like it hurt leaving everyone and coming back to the real world for work and shit. Like, oh my God, RTX is amazing. If you ever have the opportunity to go, if you're interested in going, pull that trigger, get there. It's a great time. Like it is just the best. It really is the best convention. And so yeah, that was RTX. Okay, and then so the other things I said I want to talk about real quick are the 2 movies I've seen recently, Toy Story 4 and Spider-Man Far From Home. So we'll start with Toy Story 4. So if you've seen Toy Story 3, you know how that ended with Andy, the boy who had owned, through the first 2 movies, had owned the toys. He's going off to college, and in the end, he gives the toys away to this little girl, Bonnie. And like, it's a perfect sad ending. It's a perfect movie. Love it. Like, it's like, it was a great end cap. But then they come back and say, we're going to do a 4. And I'm like, ooh, do we really need a 4? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to watch it, because it's probably going to be really, really good. But I was like, oh, do we need the 4th? And the answer is, no, we didn't need this, but I'm still very happy it exists. Like, 4 was really good. It was a good movie. It was not as good as 3, but it was really good. Like, 4 was basically the end of Woody's journey. That's all it was. It was a long goodbye to Woody. Because, spoiler alert, in the end of this movie, like, the plot of the movie, so let me just, backing up here. The plot of the movie is Bonnie is starting her first day of preschool, and while she's there, she's alone, she doesn't have any friends, and it's arts and crafts time, and so she makes a toy. She makes a toy out of a spork, and she names him Forky. And Forky somehow comes to life. And Forky has become like Bonnie's favorite toy. So but Forky is Forky is somehow sentient. He was a spork. And so like a toy's purpose is to be there for their child. So like the toys have like this natural instinct and inclination to want to be there for Bonnie, where Sporky is trash. So he just wants to throw himself in the trash. So his whole thing is he's trying to basically escape Bonnie. And it's like Woody takes it upon himself to do his best to try and keep Sporky around, keep an eye on him. And also like Bonnie, we see a scene early on where like Bonnie is playing with toys, but like she's not giving Woody any attention. She's not playing with Woody. It's like Woody's starting to feel a little, you can see like Woody's starting to feel a little useless and left out. So like watching Sporky gives him some purpose. And so there's a point in the movie, like the family goes on a road trip, Sporky jumps out a window, Woody dives out to go find him. And on there, like he finds him, like convinces Sporky, like, hey, you're Bonnie's toy, Bonnie needs you. he comes around, and so they're going back, but then Woody runs into Bo Peep, who we hadn't seen since Toy Story 1. And like the movie then becomes like Woody and Bo Peep trying to rescue Sporky, while also the other toys are trying to like lead the family back over there so they can, like, all the toys can reunite and whatnot and get Bonnie her toys back. And in the end, so like they do that in the end, like I'm glossing over this real quick. So in the end, like they get everything back, and Woody makes a decision not to go back with all the other toys. Like everyone else goes back with Bonnie. Woody decides to become like basically a freelance toy with Bo Peep, where like she's been living this life for a while since she left Andy and them, and like she had a little bit of hardship, misfortune, where now she's just like a roaming toy, where like she's just like, she and a couple of other toys like show up at like random parties or like parks and whatnot, and the kids just play with them and then they move on. And it's like Woody has joined them. Like they're basically like a roving band of toys helping kids, and that's how that ends. And again, it's a good movie. It's a very, very, very solid movie. Like you're splitting hairs, but still, I find Toy Story 3 to be just way better. Like Toy Story 4, I'll say is like a 9.5, whereas Toy Story 3 is a perfect 10. So again, like you're splitting hairs, but still, it's a great movie. Go watch it. And then that's Toy Story, and then that leads me into Far From Home. This is the second standalone Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland. The villain in this one, spoilers, I guess, kind of, sort of. The villain in this one is Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. And like, again, spoilers for all this. Like, if you've never read a Spider-Man comic or seen the cartoon, and you don't know Mysterio is a villain, I guess this was a crazy reveal for you. But like, so I'll just get on with it. In the movie, you see we got Spider-Man, Tom Holland, like it's after the Thanos snap, what they call the blip, for fun, where it's like, it's not like they had to finish out that school year, they finished out the year, and the science class is going on a science trip to Europe. And while they're over there, like there's this other threat going on where like these 4 elemental creatures that like supposedly were transported to Earth from the multiverse as a result of the Thanos snap, and they're like destroying the Earth, but like Mysterio is there like fighting them off and like making a name for himself, becoming a big hero. And so like this ruins like Peter's trip, because Peter wants to go on his trip as a normal kid. Like he had no intention of doing any superheroics, but like this threat is happening, and so he's recruited by Nick Fury and the rest of S.H.I.E.L.D. and like to join Mysterio to help stop this threat. And so they're all doing all that shit. And like while they're there, like Peter is given these glasses that like Tony Stark's last gift to him, where it's like these things, like if you've ever seen an Iron Man movie, like Tony has the glasses himself. He has them in Infinity War and Endgame, where it's like, you know, they're super high-tech glasses. Like he looks and he scans shit, and then like he can call his suits and whatnot, yada yada yada. And so Tony left a pair for Peter, but like Peter doesn't want to be the next Iron Man, or like he's not ready to accept that kind of responsibility. He wants to be more of like what he said in the first Spider-Man Homecoming. He wants to be more of a neighborhood home Spider-Man. And so like he gives the glass over to Mysterio, and it turns out, oh, it was a trick the whole time by Mysterio just to get these glasses. So Mysterio, turns out he's a former Stark employee, along with a bunch of other people. Like it's a whole gang. He's just like he's the leader of this gang, where it's all these people who felt mistreated by Tony Stark, and now that like Tony's dead, they're all trying to get theirs. Like they're trying to capitalize on their genius and their tech. And they needed these glasses from Peter, and so he turned them over to Mysterio. So like Mysterio had the whole movie up until that point had presented himself as a good guy, but like it all turned out it was an illusion. Like he invented this crazy realistic holotech where it was like projecting the monster, but really it was just a bunch of drones that he was controlling. And so like, again, like if you've seen a Spider-Man cartoon or read the comic, like you know this is kind of like Mysterio is a master of illusion. It's like everything he does is bullshit. So like I saw this coming a mile away from once I saw the trailer. I'm like, oh, this is an illusion. This is some bullshit. And so it was. And so he's the bad guy. And so then Peter stops him. Like I said, if I was giving a more full in-depth review of this movie, I'd go into it. But I can already see how much time I have on my camera. Battery's gonna run out relatively soonish and whatnot, so I'm just jumping around. So yeah, like I said, he tricks Peter out of the glasses. Peter realizes it, goes and whoops his ass, gets it back. Oh, but then, so then here's the real kicker though. Here's the real kicker. The end credit scene, the mid credit scene in this is possibly my favorite one they've ever done. So, the big showdown, the final showdown of the movie is Peter fighting Mysterio in this hallway where we see there's like all these killer drones around protecting him, and Peter like unleashes the spider sense. Like this is where it's like we've been hinting at it before, but like this is where he like gains full control of it, and like so like he's bouncing around like punching and breaking drones and shit. And one of the drones, like Peter knocks it aside and it shoots Mysterio in the gut, and he bleeds out and dies. I believe he's dead. We don't know. I guess we don't know for sure. It could be an illusion, but I'm pretty confident he's dead. But again, we'll see. But so he had made this, but before that he had made this recording, this altered footage recording that made it look like Spider-Man was the bad guy. And so this is the mid-credit scene. The mid-credit scene is Mysterio made this footage and released the word. He's like, it's Mysterio. I don't know what's going on, but Spider-Man is attacking right now. He's got this army of drones. He's talking about wanting to replace Tony Stark, but he's gonna be the hero. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if I can stop him, but you know, it's all Spider-Man's fault, kind of thing. And then like he edits the footage of like Peter stopping it to make it look like he's actually starting it and whatnot. And then like in the end, he says Spider-Man. He's like, in Spider-Man's real identity is Peter Parker. And so like this got released to the world, and it was like, what the fuck? And so, but before that, it's like the way this information is released is that we see Peter and Mary Jane swinging throughout, or not Mary Jane, MJ, swinging around New York, because they're boyfriend and girlfriend now. That happened in the movie. So they're swinging, like he's like taking her swinging around New York, and like he puts her down. He's like about to swing away, and we see like one of the giant video screens in Times Square click on, and we see motherfucking J. Jonah Jameson, and it's J.K. Simmons. He's back as J. Jonah Jameson. That was so fucking dope. Like I saw Far From Home twice in the same day. I went like at around noon for work, which was awesome. Like my boss's son works part of our team now. It's like they were gonna go see it anyways, but like it was also a Tuesday before the holiday. So like work was kind of slow, so they're like, fuck it, like let's just all go watch Spider-Man. And like the theater I was in, like was kind of lame. Like when that hit, no one popped. Like there was no big reaction. Whereas like me, I was like, yeah, like it was just me. And so I went and saw it again later that night with my friends, because we had tickets weeks before. Because like the whole thing with my work, that was random and spontaneous. Like my friends and I got tickets to this movie, you know, like long before. So it's like that time when it popped, it was awesome. Like my friends and I were like, oh. And yeah, so Far From Home compared to Homecoming, I think I like Homecoming better. Mainly because I definitely liked the villain in Homecoming better. Michael Keaton's performance as the Vulture against Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. Not that Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio was bad. I just think Michael Keaton as Vulture was better. That's all. And like it was just a more compelling story. Like, yeah. Just yeah. And then like, oh yeah, so like also like you look at the two big twists in each movie. So like the big twist in Far From Home was that it turned out Mysterio's a bad guy. Oh, like I said, I fucking saw that coming a mile away. That was no big twist at all. Whereas the big twist in Homecoming was, in Homecoming, Peter's love interest is a girl named Liz. And he gets up the courage to eventually ask her to be his homecoming date. And he goes to pick her up, and it turns out Liz's dad is the Vulture. Like, did not see that coming at all. Like, we knew that Vulture had a family. You know, like he talked about that, but like we had no idea it was Liz. That was fucking dope. So like that's what I'm saying. Like, I like Far From Home better. But again, we're splitting hairs here. Putting numbers on, like, I would say Homecoming is like a 9.2, and I have Far From Home as like an 8.8. You know, it's like that. Still great movies though. And yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna wrap this episode up, because I'm looking at my camera right now and look like I'm running out of time anyways. So yeah, that's my quick reviews of Toy Story 4 and Spider-Man Far From Home, and of course my RTX story. So yeah, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at KingFranchise88. And until the next time, peace.